These days, the monarchy, our monarchy, is a charitable monarchy. The royal family supports thousands of charities.
We want to assure all of you who are struggling that you are very much in our thoughts.
Being out and about, visiting people, visiting charities, raising funds for charities.
We stand with you as you continue on that difficult journey.
The challenge that so many people have is not knowing how to take that first step of reaching out to another person for help. How can we get more people to start talking? How do we encourage people to take the first step?
It's also about modernising the machine that runs the royal family, modernising the firm. So that's their output, their social media, their website, all these kind of things need to be modernised, and they need to appeal to the younger generation because they are the ones that keep the royal family going. Look, the royal family exists because of the people and for the people, and not the other way around. So you have to be able to appeal to the people that you exist to serve.
You are the future. But I would like to add to that you are also the present. You are the ones driving the positive and necessary change needed across the globe now in this very moment.
With King Charles III as the monarch, he really needs to modernise. So that will be slimming down the number of working royals, but also making sure that the younger members of the family, who are the future, are given the prominence that they deserve.
And I think that what you can see in Charles is genuine desire to make things better for people. I mean, he genuinely is somebody who has said, I worry about the fate of my subjects.
We need to lift up all of humanity and make sure that no person or community is left behind. What we do in this moment will stand in history.
Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. From becoming the world's most admirable couple to potentially the world's most controversial, their journey has been one faced with many difficulties.
In the case of Harry and Meghan, I think they knew very early on that this was potentially going to be a lifelong romance. But they were very cautious, and they tried to keep their relationship under the radar as they got to know each other to make sure before they went public.
They have remained strong during times of grief and despair and have often looked at the royal family with much diligence and respect whilst trying to maintain a life of normalcy.
Ever since he set eyes on Meghan and fell in love with Meghan, he feared the day when he might lose her.
It's apparent that yes, there was a mutual attraction, but it went far beyond the physical. Meghan and Harry were attracted to what each other believed in and what each other wanted to do in the world.
With their time split currently between the UK and the US, their contribution to the royal family remains fairly limited. The death of Queen Elizabeth II had officially begun a new era. With King Charles III now as monarch, Harry and Meghan live a life separate to those closer to the walls of Buckingham Palace. The couple announced their decision to step back from the royal family in 2020. They now live in California and no longer use their HRH, His Her Royal Highness titles, as they have made the decision to no longer be working members of the royal family. However, they did retain the titles of Duke and Duchess.
You know, the monarchy finds itself in a moment of turmoil, flux, and a genuine crisis because, of course, this has opened up a Pandora's box. There are so many wider issues at stake. The future of the monarchy, this streamlined monarchy that you keep hearing people talking about. What does that actually look like if Meghan and Harry do step down?
The world wants to know the answer to that question. Obviously, there's an interest in America in the royals. It's a monarchy, that's one level of interest, but it's also a family, and this is, I think, for the first time, a glimpse behind palace walls.
Republicans say they can't simply pick and choose which perks of the palace they enjoy.
You know, if they want to live privately, then they need to renounce their titles, abandon all claims to all public funding, and go and do their own thing. And had they done that, I'd be standing here cheering them on and saying, well done you. But they have not done that. They still want to cling on to the purse strings of the British taxpayer, and they still want to have that status that we have given them.
There is a certain amount of security, whether or not he wants it, that he just needs because of what he's born into.
Yeah, David Beckham needs security, and he pays for it himself.
Their journey to come to this decision is one that raised controversy, social media appeal, and an overwhelming amount of questions when it came to the future of the monarchy, a story that has made royal history. Prince Harry is the spare to his brother, the future King William. He was born to parents Charles and Diana, and their relationship is a story in itself. From bizarre media attention, their own divorce, Diana's death, and extreme longing to be different in the eyes of the public, Prince Harry indeed has been through it all.
William and Harry are acutely aware of where things went wrong in the press in their early life. And there's an argument, quite a strong one, to suggest that the wheels so spectacularly fell off Diana's life and her public image and how she was portrayed in the press and how she was pursued by journalists and photographers that contributed to her tragic demise.
Prince Harry's relationship with the media went bad and has got progressively worse ever since his mother died. He believes deeply and profoundly that the media contributed to his mother's untimely death. So ever since her death, he has tried to find an accommodation, and that accommodation has been his acceptance that the intense interest in him could be used by him to throw focus on issues that he is passionate about.
The world has a soft spot for Prince Harry. It really began, I think, the affection for both boys when their mother died. We all saw that just tragic footage of the boys walking behind their mother's coffin when they were so young, and even the flowers on the coffin with the note, handwritten note, "I love you, Mommy." You know, it was devastating. I think the whole world loved those boys and has watched them grow into accomplished, wonderful, caring men that their mother would be very proud of. So I think it's the love for Harry began with the love for Diana. But I think the world, and particularly Americans, adore Harry because he doesn't do everything right. He played naked pool, naked billiards, I mean, in Vegas. Like, he certainly has not done everything right. It's his humanness, I think, that people have fallen in love with. It's his openness, his honesty, the fact that he's royal, but he's also very real, that I think people relate to and love him all the more for it. When Harry goes to a homeless shelter or goes to work in a mental health facility, I think it's very clear that he really genuinely cares. There's something about his mother in Prince Harry, which is a compassionate empathy which radiates through him. There's nothing that seems put on or false about it. He is so real and connected, and I believe personally it's exactly what people resonated with Princess Diana.
Prince Harry was best described as a wild child, taking from his mother's naughty streak. From a very young age, he has said that he loved to party and smoke the occasional joint. He was described as mean to his brother William and was quite the sass of the two. He really did grow up from a mischievous teen to a royal heartthrob. For Meghan, she was raised as an only child. Born on the 4th of August 1981 at West Park Hospital in California to Doria Ragland, a social worker and former makeup artist, and father Thomas Markle, an Emmy Award-winning television lighting director and director of photography. Her parents separated when she was only 2 years of age and divorced 4 years later. Having said that, Meghan is believed to have a close-knit relationship with her mother today.
Meghan Markle is a California girl. In fact, her dad, Thomas, was in the film industry. He worked on set. And one of Meghan's earliest memories, actually, and what she says inspired her to be an actress, was being on set of the show Married with Children, a show that her dad worked on for years as a lighting director, I believe. Meghan grew up very much, not so much in the industry, but close, kind of on the periphery of show business. I think she got a real taste of it from a very early age. And Meghan was always a natural performer. We've seen videos of her in school plays. We know that she was always kind of gravitating towards the stage and being on stage. Meghan seemed to do really well with the kind of attention and scrutiny that came with being an actress. And there's no doubt that really, from an early age, Meghan always kind of stood out from the rest of her peers.
Meghan develops an interest for acting from a very young age. She attended Hollywood Little Red Schoolhouse from the ages of 2 to 11, where both of her parents continued to raise her until the age of 9, after which her father was left in charge of caring for her as her mother pursued a career. She was raised as a Protestant and graduated from LA's Immaculate Heart High School, an all-girl Catholic school. It was here that she would come to take part in many plays and musicals, with her father lending a helping hand.
When Meghan was very young, she very famously wrote a letter to Procter & Gamble about a television advert that was on at the time. It was an advertisement for dishwashing soap and fairy liquid. And it was saying, you know, women's work can be made far easier in the kitchen. And Meghan's question was, why is it necessarily women's work? Meghan was really young at the time. She was a young girl, and she was already questioning the status quo. Famously, she was replied to, and the ad was changed. The ad was pulled from the airways. So from a very young age, Meghan Markle was already making a difference, and she wasn't afraid to buck the trend.
It's always mom does this and mom does that.
In particular, a commercial for Ivory dishwashing liquid caught her attention because it used the word women.
Women are fighting greasy pots and pans.
And I said, wait a minute, how could somebody say that?
Even back then, Meghan struck everyone with her easy charm and intelligence.
Just about 1 out of every 3 commercials is gonna say something that's gonna hurt somebody's feeling.
In 1999, she attended Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, where she joined the Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority. She would then come to earn her bachelor's degree with a double major in theatre and international studies in 2003 from Northwestern School of Communication.
That's a great school. It's one of the top schools in the US, has a great program, and she was interested in political science. Meghan has always been interested in the world, in politics, in the global stage. And, you know, we saw when Meghan had her own blog, The TIG, that she did an awful lot of traveling. She wrote about everything from fine wines to the best restaurants, fashion, travel. She has always been very much interested in the world. Meghan also is very much an Anglophile. We know that she spent extended periods of time in London, in the UK. Some of her best friends are and were British. Meghan wrote an anonymous column for The Telegraph about a diary of a working actress, which was later exposed that it had been her. But it was something that Meghan's always been really passionate about and interested in is England and the UK.
Developing a keen interest in the world stage and in acting, Meghan's job came to present many challenges of its own. She grew up identifying as mixed race, and sadly, this led to some issues when it came to her desires of pursuing certain roles, but also led to doubts on an even larger scale when it came to marrying into the royal family.
You know, Meghan herself has talked about the challenges of being biracial. She has said, you know, I wasn't black enough for the black roles, I wasn't white enough for the white roles, and I was in the middle as a mixed race woman. And her journey has been in part to find the strength and dignity and passion for that role, and embodying a beautiful, strong, mixed race woman and all of that means. You know, Meghan is re-educating people. There's never been a mixed race royal baby as we have now. And this is an incredible thing. I remember I was at the royal wedding when Meghan and Harry got married. I was in Windsor, and I remember there were a lot of women there who were black, with little girls, with daughters, who were celebrating this special day. I actually spoke to a friend of mine who's a television presenter, who's mixed race, and she said to me, people can't have any idea what a big deal this is for there to be a black princess, for there to be a mixed race princess, because we haven't had that before. And I think that just by virtue of the fact that Meghan is who she is, inspires people, inspires young girls, inspires women, and that's a beautiful thing. The royal family cannot survive if it doesn't evolve and it reflect the world at large. And to be entirely white, it certainly does not do that. So Meghan is representing, just by virtue of the fact that she's accomplished and beautiful and smart and talented and mixed race. And it's a wonderful thing. It's great for the royal family, and it's great for everyone else.
Oh my gosh, I love Self magazine, and I love the women who work for it and with it. So it's just really exciting to be here. I know it's going to be surrounded by really cool and inspiring people, so couldn't miss it. I'm in New York for a small window, and it's the premiere tonight of our show, but this is like, have to be here first, of course.
For Prince Harry, he followed very much in the footsteps of his brother. Born 15th of September 1984, Harry was educated at Wetherby School, Ludgrove School and Eton College. He completed an army officer training at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst and served temporarily with his older brother William. He was also separately deployed on active duty to Afghanistan. Harry, unlike his brother who went on to university, didn't attend university and went on to the army as an officer cadet. He would come to stay in the army for 10 years, leaving officially in 2015.
Prince Harry, I won't say dropped out of school, but he came very close to dropping out of Eton. He left with some rather appalling exam results, and there was a delay before he joined the army, which was really his only option. University wasn't on the table. In that period, I think Harry now, by his own admission, would say that he went through a very bad patch and got himself in all kinds of scrapes. The Nazi outfit being just one of quite a long list. Punching a photographer outside a nightclub was another. Harry learnt a lot in that small period of time, and I don't think at that stage in his life anybody could have said anything to him that he would have taken notice of. But luckily, he's grown up since then.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, although different in their own unique ways, share the same values that make them an ideal pair. Now their love story is one that has made quite the royal statement.
In my personal opinion, Meghan Markle is ideally suited to be a royal for two reasons. One is, as a Hollywood actress, she would be used to red carpets. She would be used to having to dress in order to be scrutinized. She would be used to getting questions fired at her by journalists. And she would be used to, sorry to say, but being fake. You know, you're showing up at an opening in Doncaster in the middle of England on a rainy day, and you have to look excited and happy and thrilled to talk to every single person for 2 hours. Well, that's something that really an actress needs to pull off, because as a royal, you're not allowed to show annoyance or depression and things like this when you're on public walkabouts. And so for Meghan to be an actress is ideal. In addition, Meghan has a master's in political science. She is someone who really understands the politics, the global stage, international relations. Again, very important for someone who's a royal. So Meghan Markle has a fantastic combination of show business and also education and smarts. In fact, Meghan's better educated than any of the other young royals on stage today because of the fact that she actually has a master's degree.
It all started with a blind date.
Harry were introduced by a mutual friend called Misha Nunu. Misha was a longtime friend of Meghan. She's also a friend of Harry's, and she actually set them up. Now, you have to understand, when you're as famous as Meghan Markle, or obviously Prince Harry, you can't just go and meet someone, and you can't go on Bumble, and you can't go on normal dating apps. When you're rich and famous, the only way that you can really meet people to date is basically being set up, because there's always a risk if you go on a dating app or you just meet someone in a bar that they'll go to the tabloids, they'll sell their story, they'll sleep with you and take pictures when you're sleeping. I mean, horrible, horrible things have happened. So when you're on the level of Prince Harry, it's going to be a setup. It's always going to be someone who knows somebody. Now, Meghan just happened to be in the right circle, to be on the periphery of Prince Harry's life, and is drop-dead gorgeous and very much Harry's type. So Misha, the mutual friend of Meghan and Harry, recognized that these two would be crazy about each other. And I think from Harry's side, what man wouldn't be attracted to someone who's as beautiful, glamorous, and stylish as Meghan Markle is?
When suggesting to meet, Harry arrived fashionably late by half an hour and managed to get Meghan feeling highly doubtful of him. A great start. But over a drink, the quick date did end up leading to sparks, and in light of their long-distance circumstances, with the young prince residing in London, the two set a schedule to see each other every few weeks. Meghan was in Wimbledon at the time of their meeting, but headed back to America.
Because I'm from the States, you don't grow up with the same understanding of the royal family, and so while I now understand very clearly there's a global interest there, I didn't know much about him, and so the only thing that I had asked her when she said she wanted to set us up was, I had one question. I said, well, is he nice? Because if he wasn't kind, it didn't seem like it would make sense, and so we went and met for a drink, and then I think very quickly into that we said, what are we doing tomorrow? We should meet again.
What are we doing tomorrow? Let's meet again. And then it was like, right, diaries. We need to get the diaries out and find out how we're going to make this work, because I was off to Africa for a month. She was working, and we just said, right, where's the gap? And the gap happened to be in the perfect place.
Very early on, when we realized we were going to commit to each other, that we knew we had to invest the time and the energy and whatever it took to make that happen. And so yes, with the filming schedule, it was not the easiest, because it of course included a lot of travel back and forth, but...
I don't think you've had any idea what time zone you've been on for the last year and a half.
No.
Coming over here 4 days or a week, and then going back, and then straight into filming the next day, 4 a.m. wake-up calls on a Monday,
yes.
Straight into set, you know. And
right off the plane and straight to set,
yeah,
just coming
I'm
back
just trying
and doing
to
it again.
trying to stay as close as possible, but you know, on 2 different time zones and 5 hours apart does have its challenges. But we made it work, and now we're here, so we're thrilled.
The pair ended up taking a trip to Botswana together, and their romantic connection continued to bloom.
Prince Harry had dated a string really, of beautiful English socialites. They tended to be blonde and willowy, very great backgrounds, you know, wealthy families, went to the right schools. However, what Meghan brought to the equation was a lot of humanitarian work that Harry's ex-girlfriends just couldn't even touch with a 10-foot pole. Meghan had actually worked for the UN. She'd gone on missions and trips to support women and children in the developing world. Meghan had been a global humanitarian long before she met Prince Harry. And I think as Harry was very close to stepping into his full role as a member of the royal family, the possibility of meeting someone who was equally passionate and engaged about changing the world and helping other people was extremely attractive to Harry. I think if you watch the engagement interview that Harry and Meghan did on BBC, and they talk about their first meeting and how they instantly connected, it's apparent that yes, there was a mutual attraction, but it went far beyond the physical. Meghan and Harry were attracted to what each other believed in and what each other wanted to do in the world.
Both of us have passions for wanting to make change for good, and with lots of young people running around the Commonwealth, that's where we're going to spend most of our time, hopefully.
And it was really one of the first things we connected on. It was one of the first things we started talking about when we met, was just the different things that we wanted to do in the world and how passionate we were about seeing change. I think that was, that's what got date 2 in the books, probably.
Plenty to talk.
Following romance rumours that began only shortly after their trip to Botswana, Kensington Palace released a statement on social media confirming the public of their relationship. But this announcement led to a tidal wave and was the beginning of very many difficult conflicts the couple would face with the British public and their own family. Meghan was subject to constant smears on the front of national newspapers, racial undertones and outright racism on social media and web articles. Her mother began to struggle to get past photographers to get into her own home, and attempts were made from reporters and photographers to gain illegal access into her property. She also saw an increasing amount of substantial bribes made by her ex-boyfriend and the bombardment of nearly every friend, co-worker and loved one in her life. In a reprimanding address, the palace implored the public to stop their ongoing harassment of Harry and his girlfriend. It didn't help either that her own career as an actress, taking part in many drama series such as Suits, also resulted in fame and shame.
It's not unusual for the royal family to complain about press intrusion and request privacy. What's unprecedented about this emotional statement is the protests at the racist undertones and sexism of the coverage in this story. So what could have prompted such a reaction?
Harry reads everything that's written about him and about those in his life, to the point where he actually will talk to you and mention things that you've written about that he doesn't like. He's an avid follower of the press. Yes, of course, that will have driven things that he would have read last week, over the last week, about Meghan Markle that he hasn't liked, the racial undertones he's talked about, the outright sexism that's been in some of the coverage. That will have stung him to the heart, and I think that is what's prompted this very unusual statement from him.
How much of a sense did you have, Meghan, of the enormity of what you were getting into, what it might mean for your life?
I think I can very safely say, as naive as it sounds now, having gone through this learning curve in the past year and a half, I did not have any understanding of just what it would be like. I don't think either of us did that. We both said that, even though we knew that it would be.
You know, I tried to warn you as much as possible, but I think both of us were totally surprised by the reaction after the first 5-6 months of what we had to ourselves of what actually happened from then. So I think you can have as many conversations as you want and try and prepare as much as possible, but we were totally unprepared for what happened after that.
The scrutiny?
Well, all sorts.
Of course, it's disheartening. You know, it's a shame that that is the climate in this world, to focus that much on that, or that would be discriminatory in that sense. But I think, you know, at the end of the day, I'm really just proud of who I am and where I come from, and we have never put any focus on that. We've just focused on who we are as a couple. And so when you take all those extra layers away and all of that noise, I think it makes it really easy to just enjoy being together and tune all the rest of that out.
But now that it is all official, Prince Harry, do you have that sense that the combination of the two of you, your different backgrounds, that you together represent something new for the royal family?
I don't know if it's something new. I think it's, you know, for me, it's an added member of the family. It's another team player as part of the bigger team. And you know, for all of us, what we want to do is be able to carry out the right engagements, carry out our work, and try and encourage others and the younger generation to be able to see the world in the correct sense, rather than perhaps having a distorted view. So you know, the fact that I fell in love with Meghan so incredibly quickly was a sort of confirmation to me that everything, all the stars were aligned, everything was just perfect. It was this beautiful woman just sort of literally tripped and fell into my life. I fell into her life, and the fact that I know the fact that she'll be really unbelievably good at the job part of it as well, is obviously a huge relief to me, because she'll be able to deal with everything else that comes with it. But no, you know, we're a fantastic team. We know we are, and we hope to, you know, over time, try and have as much impact for all the things that we care about as much as possible.
I am very excited about that, yeah.
Prince Harry has always stood by his girlfriend in times of despair and grief, and this is something that has kept their relationship strong over the years. Harry grew extremely worried about his girlfriend's safety in the face of public turmoil, and began to be deeply disappointed that he was not able to protect her. He felt it completely unacceptable that only months into the relationship the couple would face such a storm. It may be that their mutual concern about privacy, from Harry witnessing the fate of his mother since he was a child, to Meghan always in the spotlight from her career roles, then feeling invaded when getting involved with Harry, contributed to the decision they would later make. Regardless of a rough start, the two were captured sharing their first kiss during a polo event in Ascot, in what would mark their first public appearance together as a couple.
Meghan and Harry had very much a whirlwind romance. They had only been seeing each other briefly when they went to Botswana together under the radar and went camping in Africa, as you do. I think Botswana is really what solidified things between the pair. And I think after that intense experience together, they knew that this was serious. When you are a royal trying to date someone who's a Hollywood actress, which is not unprecedented, but it is unusual, it's very important to stay under the radar. One of the big dangers of this relationship is that there would be a host of publicity, a host of press, and then the two would break up. And then both of them are plagued and haunted by the rest of their lives by questions about this relationship, which was never meant to be. So for celebrities, it's very important before they go public to make sure that it's really serious and it's gonna last, because otherwise it's just embarrassing and it's just bad publicity for everyone. In the case of Harry and Meghan, I think they knew very early on that this was potentially going to be a lifelong romance. But they were very cautious and they tried to keep their relationship under the radar as they got to know each other to make sure before they went public. Harry made several surreptitious visits to Meghan's condo in Toronto. He would come and go, and really nobody figured out who he was. And Meghan was being, secretly brought over here, stayed with him in Kensington Palace, and again, none were the wiser. Meghan and Harry kept most of their early courting days behind closed doors. They say that, she was cooking him a roast chicken when he proposed. They were used to spending a lot of evenings at home, having home-cooked meals, because they frankly couldn't go out to restaurants. But I think the intimacy of their early days, when they were really forced to spend most of their time alone together at home, contributed to their close connection and bond.
In September 2017, the couple came to meet each other's family members in Toronto for the Invictus Games, which Harry hosts, where they were joined by Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland. Later in the month, Meghan was introduced to Harry's late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. After a year of ups and downs, the pair officially got engaged.
It has been widely commented upon that Harry and Meghan kind of rushed into things. They'd only been dating a short time, and then they went to the Invictus Games, and they announced an engagement, and now they have a baby. They haven't been, sitting around. I think from Meghan and Harry's side, they knew quite early on that this was it. However, there's been a lot written about the fact that when Harry's friends, and even perhaps his own brother, cautioned him that perhaps things were moving too fast with an American who was unfamiliar with the royal demands and perhaps the royal system. Harry did not react well to that, and by all accounts, all reports, was furious with anyone who dared to question Meghan or her suitability or whether or not Harry was in fact sure. And Harry has cut people out of his life, according to the reports, based on the fact that they weren't welcoming and accepting of Meghan. Harry has been faultlessly loyal to Meghan from the beginning. In fact, when Meghan and Harry were first just dating, he issued kind of an unprecedented love decree to the press, saying, "I'm dating her, she's important to me, and basically back off." It was unprecedented. I mean, for him to go out public to the press and defend her. It goes to show, even from the beginning, how protective Harry is of her. All the way through this relationship, we've seen examples of Harry trying to protect Meghan from the scrutiny. Meghan comes in the legacy of Princess Diana, and Harry saw the way his mother was treated by the press. And I think he's very keenly aware of how that happened and ensuring that that doesn't happen to Meghan.
Once the engagement was announced, Meghan expressed her excitement over what's in store for her as a soon-to-be Duchess and talked about how she plans to utilise her new platform. In February 2018, the fiancés appeared publicly together with Prince William and Kate Middleton, who at the time were expecting their third child together, Prince Louis. In this interview, the quad talked all about a charity, the Royal Foundation. In May 2019, the couple were married at St George's Chapel at Windsor Castle in a star-studded ceremony that became the most-watched royal wedding in the world. On this day, Meghan is officially granted her royal title, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. And with this new title came a new responsibility.
Windsor was, an incredible scene the day of the royal wedding. I had to kind of push my way through crowds to get up to the chapel where I was working for a TV program, and I was able to go inside and see the chapel and some of the guests as they were coming in, and everyone was excited. The crowds were enormous. As you came up that very famous park, it was mobbed. Both sides of where their carriage was going to go was thousands and thousands of people stood back to back, ready to cheer them on. The applause, the cheers as they drove through Windsor were deafening. There was a tremendous amount of love and support for Meghan and Harry on their special day. There were British flags and bunting and decorations everywhere. People had taken the day off work, taken the day their kids out of school, all to celebrate. The entire town in Windsor was alive with celebration.
Harry! Harry!
A lot of people had mixed feelings about Meghan's wedding dress. Some people felt it was too big, it overwhelmed her, the material was quite stiff, so it didn't show her beautiful figure. There were mixed feelings about the dress. I personally thought it was very elegant, very Jackie Onassis, and it was lovely. However, there were no mixed feelings about her Stella McCartney party dress that she put on after the wedding. That was universally said to be a winner. And many people, including myself, actually preferred that dress. It was just a knockout. And there's some very famous video footage of Meghan and Harry exiting the palace to get in a very fancy Aston Martin or something to drive to the reception. They look like they are literally in a James Bond movie. Harry looks so dapper. They are the most glamorous, gorgeous, sexy, beautiful couple in that moment.
Having retired from her acting career in 2019, Meghan's story is one that, combined with Prince Harry's, tells quite a story for one. For Harry, being the spare, he spent most of his time in the army and described these years as the happiest of his life. Since leaving the army in 2015, he has been closely involved with the armed forces through the Invictus Games, honorary military appointments and other official engagements. He would come to succeed his grandfather, the late Prince Philip, as the Captain General Royal Marines in December 2017, and was promoted to the substantive ranks of Lieutenant Commander of the Royal Navy, Major of the British Army, and Squadron Leader of the Royal Air Force. The couple would eventually come to welcome a son together, Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, on May 6, 2019 in London. They were actually on tour at the time the pregnancy was announced.
was a backlash actually because it was announced so soon after Princess Eugenie's wedding. A lot of people felt that it had stolen the thunder for poor Eugenie, who had gotten married literally like the day or 2 days before. It was ridiculous because Meghan has the right, first of all, to announce her pregnancy anytime she wants to, and probably they waited until after Eugenie's wedding to announce because they didn't want to steal her thunder. But Meghan was in the middle of a royal tour in which she was probably going to miss engagements due to morning sickness or fears for her getting pushed and jostled too much in the crowd. She had to explain herself, and she had the right to stay home if she was tired one morning when she was in the early throes of pregnancy. So I think Meghan and Harry felt they had to announce in a way because she was in the middle of a royal tour. She probably was going to get a little more tired, and there might be obvious bump pictures which would just set off a fury of speculation. Meghan showed very early in her pregnancy. She was only a little bit pregnant and she already had a bump. So I think it was a necessity really for Harry and Meghan to announce the pregnancy as early as they did. To Meghan's credit, despite being pregnant, despite having it be her first royal tour, she never did miss a single one of the 72 engagements that occurred over the 16 days that she and Harry were on tour.
Then in 2020, the couple announced that they would be stepping back from their duties as working members of the royal family and planning to make a move together to the US. They came to this decision after months of reflection and internal discussions. In February 2021, the palace confirmed that Harry would give up his position as Captain General Royal Marines and hand back all the other honorary military appointments.
I think the relationship has got worse and worse, not least because of his relationship and now his marriage to Meghan Markle. I think ever since he set eyes on Meghan and fell in love with Meghan, he feared the day when he might lose her, and he believes that the media may play a part in his losing her. I think the whole plan that Harry and Meghan have is a really problematic one because they're talking about stepping back. Their critics would argue, about having their cake and eat it. They're talking about one day representing the Queen on a foreign tour to another country, on another day, say in North America, earning serious money with some sort of endorsement of some sort of product. The risk is that those two things aren't compatible. The risk is that their pursuit of money will tarnish the Windsor brand and tarnish the House of Windsor.
Even if you look at the birth of the new baby, whereas Kate Middleton was trotted out in hosiery and full makeup just hours after delivering her babies, Meghan said from the beginning, I won't be doing that. They didn't even announce she was in labor until after the baby was safely born. All the way through the birth, even in the last weeks of her pregnancy, Meghan was not seen. And all the way through her birth, Meghan has maintained a determination, along with Harry, to keep certain things private, to keep protected their family. And they are not following the royal script. They are consistently deviating from what's been done before. And some people think it's admirable and some people think it's not. But ultimately, Meghan and Harry are doing things their own way.
In many ways, Harry's feelings to consider a more quiet approach to their lives, along with Meghan's desire for change, led to a decision that would forever taint the image of the monarchy. Having stepped back as senior members of the royal family, the couple made their move to Montecito in California, where for them, life seems to be moving at a much more relaxing and slow pace, something the couple have been eager to find. Meghan has stated that this is so basic, yet it is really fulfilling and about getting back to basics. A few months later, in September 2020, they began a Netflix deal with their new production company for documentaries, docu-series, feature films, scripted shows, and children's programming. They have stated that they will be creating content that informs but also gives hope. As new parents, this is something the pair feel extremely passionate about. In February 2021, the couple announced that they were pregnant with their second child, who they gave birth to in June 2021, named Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor. They call their youngest Lily for short.
Meghan Markle has been one of the most stylish pregnant women that we've ever seen. She didn't favor maternity clothes. She tended to wear designer clothes which would accommodate her bump. Meghan has a very slim, long, lean, beautiful figure, and she was able to wear designer clothes all the way through. She looked gorgeous the entire pregnancy. The only visible difference apart from the bump was her face was perhaps a bit fuller, and actually it just made her look even younger. It's been widely reported that Harry was at Meghan's side throughout the birth, and of course we saw the very charming, gushing interview he did just hours later when he said, he was so proud of his amazing wife. He just praised her to the skies. You could see they had body language experts reading Harry, and you could see the overwhelming joy and unabashed delight and just pure happiness that radiated out of him. The thing about Harry we all love is that there is no artifice. Who he is who he is. We see pure emotion coming off of him all the time, very much like Princess Diana. And when he was talking about the birth of his son, we could see that pure, amazing excitement and joy, and the love he has really for his wife.
And how you find parenting generally? Is it still a special moment?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, parenting is amazing. It's only been, 2.5 days, 3 days?
Yeah.
But we're just so thrilled to have our own little bundle of joy and be able to spend some precious times with him as he slowly starts to grow up.
Since their move to the US, Harry and Meghan have focused on making money through media ventures, such as a podcast, Harry's tell-all autobiography Spare, to producing streaming content, including a docu-series about their relationship with Britain's royal family. They have also made new hires at their very own charity organisation, Archwell Foundation, where they raised $13 million and donated $3 million to causes of particular importance, including vaccine equity, supporting women-owned small businesses, and aiding with Afghan and Ukrainian refugee relief centres and resettlement. The pair, although very different, share the same values and interests when it comes to keeping out of the spotlight as much as possible. This is something that being a part of the royal family doesn't exactly allow too often.
Some believe there has been a fundamental disconnect on the part of Meghan and Harry in the difference between being a celebrity and being a royal. As a celebrity, you don't owe the public anything when it comes to pictures of your newborn. As a royal, the expectation is that you do. As a royal, the expectation is that this family, in a way, belongs to the public. They're public servants. For Harry and Meghan to treat this the way a celebrity would really treat this, which is, we ask for privacy at this time, that's not what royals do. Meghan and Harry have drawn a clear line in the sand and said, no, we have boundaries and this is ours, and we're not letting you in to this special moment in the way that, say, William and Kate did.
As the pair continue to embark on their journeys together away from the UK, they are actually seen to be happier than ever, prioritising a relatively private life. It may be that Harry's childhood shaped the man in which he would later become, and the husband he would become to Meghan. But above all, the couple have proven to be brave and resilient. Even when things have gone wrong, they have carried on. Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.